This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, a local academic who attended climate change talks in Paris says the result will have an impact here. Prisoners at Melbourne won't be forgotten this Christmas thanks to the hard work of members of a local church. And the DCC says thanks to those that have helped to make the city's libraries vibrant. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. In breaking news, the Dunedin City Council has suspended its maintenance contract with a company involving a local gang member. The move follows the gang member's arrest on an unrelated matter. Council Chief Executive Sue Bidrose says the contract, worth just over $52,000, will be subject to an internal review. She'll also consider the outcome of the court case involving the gang member, Albert Eperi. He's associated with the local Black Power gang. A local academic is back from international climate change talks in Paris, where an historic agreement to tackle the issue was reached. Almost 200 nations pledged to cut the greenhouse gas emissions to a level that will limit temperature rise. It's a global decision that's set to have a local impact.
Continuing the climate change conversation, University of Otago lecturer Dr. Alex McMillan is back from Paris, where 195 countries signed on to drastically cut greenhouse gas emissions. But as the euphoria of reaching a decision fades, McMillan says it's time to get down to the business of saving the planet.
We think it's a very strong framework for starting to take real action. We've been not taking action for too many decades, and now we really need to work very hard and quickly to put into place the policies that are needed to meet the commitments we've just made in Paris.
She says some of the most inspiring stories from Paris involved cities taking strong climate action regardless of national laws. That's happening locally with the Dunedin City Council signing on to the Compact of Mayors, a coalition of city leaders committed to addressing climate change.
Local councils can have a lot of power and influence with strong regulation, encouragement policies for us to decarbonise regardless of what's happening at a national policy level. And Dunedin is no different.
Despite the Paris Agreement, Dr. McMillan says some of the damage has already been done in terms of climate change. Dunedin's felt the effects of extreme weather this year, suffering drought and flooding. The city's low-lying areas are expected to be further affected.
Even if we do keep well under 2 degrees, that Dunedin is going to see some sea level rise that will impact some parts of our city more than others, especially South Dunedin is a particularly vulnerable part of the city to sea level rise.
Countries party to the Paris Agreement include the United States and China, two of the world's biggest polluters. Dr. McMillan says it's a tall order for signatories to deliver on their promise in limiting global temperature rise to less than 2 degrees Celsius. But she says it's a step in the right direction. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
The South Island's first public charging station for electric vehicles is set to be installed in Dunedin early next year. The rapid charger will look something like this and be only slightly bigger than a petrol pump. It's being installed in this Phillip Street car parking space by local infrastructure company Delta. Resource consent for the charger has just been granted by the Dunedin City Council. Delta is expecting to start work on the public asset just after Christmas with a view to having it running early in the new year. It'll be free to use for the first year and is costing the company about $50,000. Church members are rallying to create Christmas gifts for prisoners at the Otago Corrections Facility. Elim Church has been running the initiative for a decade, and those involved say they're humbled by what they receive in return.
Something sweet for the silly season. These parishioners are packaging Christmas treats for prisoners at the Otago Corrections Facility in Milton.
There are a lot of lonely people in the world, and people in the prisons are pretty marginalised when it comes to Christmas time. And for some of them, we've discovered over the 10 years that we've been doing this, that this is actually the first time they've been given something for Christmas.
Elim Church creates 450 parcels filled with Christmas food and drink for inmates in the Milton prison each year. The church raises money for each $10 box through donations from churchgoers. They've collected enough this year to make additional parcels for Women's Refuge and the Otago Community Hospice.
People at church have been sponsoring a box and bringing money in, and we've been collecting up the money. And you'll see on our totals over here that we've been, each week, a little bit more has been coming in each time until we've finally got to the 450 boxes.
The initiative is in its 10th year and it's something organisers don't plan on giving up. Parishioners receive messages each year from inmates thanking them for the gifts during the festive season.
We've had back probably 60 or 70 letters. Some of them are extremely moving, thanking us for what's been given. I mean, what we're doing really is very small, but something small for somebody else can make a huge difference in their lives at Christmas time.
Dozens of church members will work into the night packaging and delivering the sweet treats for prisoners. It's a project aimed at spreading cheer to all corners of the community. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Dunedin police say a burglar has chosen the wrong resident to mess with in breaking into a local gang associate's house. Officers say the burglar was discovered inside the basement laundry of a Corstorphine home by an occupant just before midnight on Tuesday. That occupant happened to be a gang associate who confronted the burglar. Both men took aim at one another, with the gang associate landing a punch on the burglar, who then fled from the property. City Council staff are honouring the people that help make Dunedin's public libraries thriving places. They've awarded a citation to one local for his input during a yearly Christmas morning tea, and many other residents have also been thanked for their efforts.
Honouring a huge contribution. Dunedin Public Library staff are celebrating the work residents do in making the city's libraries successful community assets.
Library is, and in a sense always has been, a community hub, so it's quite appropriate for us to recognise that it's not just the library itself, but it's an integral part of the community and all the people within it who make the library such a living and vibrant entity that it is.
Scott Muir is one resident who has made a large contribution to local libraries through his work with New Zealand Music Month. He's part of a team that creates a program of musicians for local events during the May campaign. He says he does it for the community that can't access local music.
Well, it's for the city, it's not just for the library, it's actually for everybody in Dunedin. A lot of people can't go out to gigs, they can't go out late at night, or they won't go out late at night, they won't go to pubs where bands are playing. This gives Dunedin people an opportunity to see stuff that's going on in the music community that they might not otherwise.
Residents and community group members from all over the city joined in celebrating the work that has gone into putting Dunedin libraries on the map. The Miniature Tactician Society, the Dunedin Burns Club and the Orokonui Eco Sanctuary were all honoured for their part in library events. Staff say they couldn't do it without the help of others.
There's quite a few things we absolutely couldn't do without the involvement of the community. Today we've recognised individuals and groups who've contributed to library events, authors, storytellers, musicians, and we couldn't run those events without the generous involvement of those people.
Library staff say without the help of hundreds of residents, the city's public libraries wouldn't be the community assets they are today. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we meet the local man who's taken on the role of medical director with a major society, and we take to the streets to talk parking meters.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Your place in the world.
The team at Caltex North care more about you than just putting fuel in your tank. They care about you and your family. At the Caltex Valley Workshop, the skilled service team care about your safety, extending the life of your car and helping you live more economically. There's a range of modern equipment to give comprehensive warrant of fitness checks and servicing to your vehicle. Come visit your only local in North East Valley and receive 10% off when you book your warrant and service together. That's your friendly Caltex Valley Workshop, 134 North Road, or book online at caltexvalley.co.nz.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, your guaranteed a treat.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. Gillians.co.nz.
Chiropractic care is a drug-free way of sorting out stress and pain by getting your spine in line with body and brain. At Mosgiel Chiropractic and Wellbeing, we provide family chiropractic care. Feel taller, lighter and brighter. Call Mosgiel Chiropractic and Wellbeing today, 484 7272.
Pellet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pellet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Congratulations, you're getting married. Hi, I'm James Morris, wedding celebrant, and it's my privilege and a pleasure to bring you the perfect ceremony for your perfect day. Don't wait or contemplate. Your consultation is free with no obligation. jamesmorris.co.nz.
Welcome back. Dairy giant Fonterra is selling its Australian yogurt and dessert business. Another Australian company is buying the operation and taking on existing staff. Fonterra is still heavily invested across the Tasman, recently committing more than $120 million to a factory rebuild in Victoria. It's also commissioning a new beverage plant and expanding its popular brands throughout the country. Australia is Fonterra's largest milk pool outside New Zealand. The changes are aimed at delivering stronger returns to farmer shareholders. And on that note, let's take a look at today's markets. The NZX 50 has closed the day up 30 points. It's now at 6,071. The Nikkei is up 422 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against the yen, but we are down against the other major currencies we follow. A Dunedin oncologist has taken up a top role with the Cancer Society as its medical director. Dr. Chris Jackson joins us to discuss the job and the latest funding woes for cancer patients. Good evening. Now, what attracted you to this new position?
Well, I think the Cancer Society is an extraordinarily important organisation in New Zealand. It provides an enormous amount of supportive care for patients affected by cancer, as well as being an authoritative and definitive source of cancer information. And is a very moderate and reasoned body, so I think it's a very important body in New Zealand. Also, it's the only umbrella cancer charity. There are a lot of tumour-specific cancer charities, but this is a pan-cancer body, so it takes a view across all the different cancer types. And so from forming public policy on cancer, it's a very important group.
How long have you worked as an oncologist in Dunedin?
Well, I got back from the UK in 2008. I did some training over there at the world's first cancer hospital, the Royal Marsden, and it's good to be back. It's gone very fast during that time.
And what are you aiming to achieve in this new role?
Well, the Cancer Society's it's a really interesting time. There's a new chief executive, and with the new chief executive there's a number of new board members as well, and it's going through a period of refresh, which means we're looking at the whole work program that the Cancer Society does, and it's a great opportunity to be part of that. So we're looking at the whole cancer gambit in terms of cancer control, in terms of supportive care, and how we advocate for patients, how we support them, and looking for ways we can advise government to better improve public policy on cancer.
Now, Pharmac has just declined funding for a new melanoma drug. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, this is a thorny one. Melanoma is more common in New Zealand than any other country, and over 3,000 New Zealanders are diagnosed every year, and 350 New Zealanders die from that, and there are currently no funded effective therapies. In Australia there are 4 funded melanoma drugs and none in New Zealand, so it's a real area of unmet need. The drug that everyone's talking about, pembrolizumab, there's talk, is it effective, is it cost effective? There's no doubt it's an effective drug, number one. Number two, it's very expensive, and the question is it good enough to justify funding ahead of other drugs? And I think that's what the debate really should be about, although there's a bit of noise around that.
How hard is it to get cancer drugs funded in this country?
Pharmac released a report recently which said that our access to cancer drugs is similar to that in other countries, but that's just not true. You know, we're very far behind other countries in terms of availability. Pharmac spends less than other countries do, which is good. We're getting better value for money, but also we do have lesser access to cancer drugs. There's a very high bar to get across that line.
What changes would you like to see then over the next few years?
With Pharmac specifically, or with cancer policy in general?
Pharmac
in particular. Well, there's a couple of things they could do differently. I think the problem with the current debate is that it's operating in a bit of a vacuum. There's talk, is it effective, but there's no real ways of Pharmac telling us how effective they think it is, not like a drug scorecard they could give that. Number two, we could be more privy to the cost effectiveness information they give, and that would help us understand the debate better. So if someone goes, why fund this melanoma drug when this breast cancer drug's better? Currently we can't say that, we don't know that. So having a bit more transparency and openness around that I think would be really informative for the current debate.
And you're heavily involved in the bowel cancer project as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so the team I work with, Cancer Trials New Zealand, led out of the University of Auckland, and collaborators here in Otago. We've just finished New Zealand's largest study of any cancer ever undertaken, 5,500 patients. And we've analysed the key aspects of patient care which influences patient outcome around the country, and have made a number of recommendations for how we can improve colorectal cancer care in New Zealand.
What are some of those recommendations?
There's a number of very important recommendations. I could talk about that all night. But in brief, one of the things we need to do is we need to focus on early diagnosis. Over a third of the patients diagnosed with colorectal cancer have it found out in the emergency department of the first time they're diagnosed, which is way too late. So a real focus on early diagnosis. And that feeds into the need for a national cancer screening program for colorectal cancer. Number two is improving a number of the key quality indicators that we have, so reporting our outcomes around colorectal cancer so we can see how we're going and we can work out whether or not our investments in care are actually paying off.
Dr. Chris Jackson, Cancer Society Medical Director, congratulations on the position.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, we hit the streets to see if you're having trouble with parking meters, and we'll find out what was making local headlines in July.
Help delay the signs of ageing with Collagen Plus from Silberhorn. Collagen Plus helps supplement your body's own natural production of collagen, giving you firmer, healthier, younger looking skin, shinier, healthier hair and stronger nails. It's restoring your beauty from within, and it's great value. 3-month supply, that's 180 capsules, is just $98. We'll pay the courier charge to you, and we'll give you a luxurious face cream as well. Beauty from the inside and the outside. Give us a call today, 0800 502 402.
From rare to the recent, visit the legendary Hard to Find for your quality second-hand books. With the largest stock in New Zealand and a friendly book-loving atmosphere. For good prices, buying or selling, come visit 20 Dowling Street.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
The team at Caltex North care more about you than just putting fuel in your tank. They care about you and your family. At the Caltex Valley Workshop, the skilled service team care about your safety, extending the life of your car and helping you live more economically. There's a range of modern equipment to give comprehensive warrant of fitness checks and servicing to your vehicle. Come visit your only local in North East Valley and receive 10% off when you book your warrant and service together. That's your friendly Caltex Valley Workshop, 134 North Road, or book online at caltexvalley.co.nz.
They've got all, it's all about our customer care, great food, great coffee, and supported by some awesome staff. We think it's really important that the customers, when they come in here, have a good experience and leave wanting to come back. And I think in a nutshell, that's what the Good Oil is all about.
Mobility Scooters Otago. Mobility scooters, new and used, electric manual wheelchairs, strollers and walkers. Free home demonstration and delivery. Call Tony on 03 455 2875 or visit our showroom, 211 King Edward Street, opposite Westpac.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Welcome back. The government has just announced there will be no new oil and gas exploration off Otago's coast in relation to the latest round of permits. Ministers have granted 9 permits in the 2015 block offer. All of them are for exploration in the Taranaki Basin. In the past few years, international companies have drilled for oil and gas off Otago's coast through the annual block offer process. That's brought a mix of support and opposition from locals. Some residents are encouraged by the prospect of economic gains, while others are concerned about the environmental impact. A large number of Dunedin City Council parking machines are out of service due to a technician vacancy. The council is working to rectify the issue, and its parking wardens are letting some people off without tickets. So with that in mind, our Word on the Street team asked members of the public if they've had problems with DCC parking meters.
No, I don't, because I've got a 75 plus card. I just go on the 4-hour park and stay there.
No, I don't drive or anything. So. Yeah, a few of them have been broken lately, so I've had to either move or leave notes in my car and stuff like that.
No. No, don't, because I don't really park in town. I park down, I walk for about 20 minutes, so I get free parking down the other end, so I haven't really had any issues.
No, I'm good. I drive a scooter, so I just go in all the scooter parks. So no issues at all.
No, I don't drive, so no.
No, I haven't noticed. I usually walk.
No, I walk. So, not really.
I know about it, but I don't drive now, so it doesn't sort of... I think everything's going all right.
Well, it's now time to take a look at what was making headlines in July. The city welcomed home local rugby champions with a parade, while musicians rallied in support of flood victims. And authorities fronted up about a bungled infrastructure project.
A city in celebration mode. Thousands of local rugby fans welcomed home the Highlanders, heralding the side's first ever Super Rugby victory. The support wasn't lost on players who were thanking their loyal followers.
We've really enjoyed all your support, and we've definitely heard it through last week, and yeah, we've got the best fans in the world, that's for sure.
Local musicians put on a concert in South Dunedin to raise money for flood victims. Government officials toured the historic courthouse as part of a business case for strengthening the 113-year-old facility. And local Cabinet Minister Michael Woodhouse unveiled changes to employment legislation, touching on the issue of zero-hour contracts.
It won't mean necessarily that there has to be a minimum number of hours, and we're not dispensing with casual agreements. I think they still have an important role to play in New Zealand's employment landscape, but what we are looking for is fairness and flexibility on both sides.
The city's annual Jaffa race down Baldwin Street topped off another fun-filled chocolate carnival, and a statue was unveiled at St Clair, honouring a sea lion called Mum for her successful breeding efforts. Just down the road, the botched South Dunedin cycle network had Dunedin City Council staff apologising for their mistakes.
We've had far too many chefs in the kitchen, if you like, and no one knowing which chef actually had the ability to make the decisions. So there was a lot of confusion over who had the responsibility. So that's what we're changing.
The City Council was also courting controversy over plans to reduce the number of community board members and scrap the ward system. Councillor positions were also in the firing line, and overall the recommended changes prompted about 170 public submissions.
Our quick analysis of the submissions shows that the majority are in favour of electing the council at large and retaining the number of councillors at 14.
Towards the end of the month, students at the University of Otago were protesting a proposal to axe their design program. And July ended with mums and bubs taking part in a public breastfeeding session, advocating the practice with a big latch on. Rosie Mannins, 39, Dunedin News.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. A local academic back from climate change talks in Paris says the resulting global agreement will have an impact on our city. Elim Church members are putting together Christmas parcels for hundreds of prisoners at the Otago Corrections Facility in Milton. And City Council staff have been honouring residents for contributing to the success of local public libraries and programs. Well, it's time now to find out what's going to be in Thursday's Otago Daily Times, and editor Barry Stewart joins us. Good evening.
Hello, Rebecca, and I promise not to click my pen.
Oh, thank you.
Closing traffic to Jetty Street in Dunedin has been approved by the Dunedin City Council, so that is now going to be a pedestrian mall, and all very exciting, although I hear some people that use that route to get home are a bit upset, however. Wanaka Community Board chairwoman has struck a nerve by suggesting that the town's new $16.84 million facility, sports facility, be alcohol-free. There's a radical thought. In sport, we continue our series on club sport. We talk to John Brimble, looking at declining numbers of senior sports teams. Interesting series, that?
Absolutely. Details in tomorrow's ODT. Thank you for not clicking your pen, Barry.
My pleasure.
It is time now for a quick look at local weather. Well, around the city today at 3 o'clock, 11 degrees in the central city, 12 at the Gardens and 14 out on the Tyree. In Dunedin tonight, we are expecting the odd shower or two with a low of 7 degrees. Tomorrow, the showers are expected to clear early morning. Sunny periods will increase in the afternoon. Those southerly winds will also die out. Expecting a high of 15 degrees. And on Friday, fine and sunny weather. A little bit late, mind you, 19 degrees. And to the Otago Pallet Fires tidal and fishing information. High tide tomorrow morning is at 9:06. Low tide, good for a walk on the beach, follows at 4 o'clock. And fishing conditions are on the improve and looking good at around 6:30 tomorrow evening. Well, that is local news for Wednesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.